Kinfolk. You know what? Because of what we're doing today, I'm not even really in the mood to go into a whole little spill. Sincere's in the building, and I got my co-host with me.
Yo, this Peaches.
Y'all already know what the IT is, so please make sure you guys when you get a chance, you follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us on TikTok as well as Instagram. Please, we looking for y'all over there on those platforms. Mel, what's good, son? You know what I'm saying? Good to see you. Also, it's been a tumultuous week, turbulent, if you will. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about Black Lives Matter, ? Because we have to ask ourselves that question when it comes to the system and when it comes to us as a community as well. What's happening, Chaz?
What's up?
So we're also going to be looking forward to having you guys give us a call, man. When we get into this topic, I'm quite sure it's going to be some emotions flaring, some strong disagreements, and so forth and so on, man. So if you want to, and you want to express exactly how you feel about whatever we may be talking about, or whatever instance that we may be talking about at that point in time, please give us a call. We want to hear from you. Also, man, if y'all would send us some shout outs, we'd appreciate that. If you want to be highlighted for the Black Business of the Week, email us here, oneblackOwnedPodcast@gmail.com. We actually been getting some people who've been hitting us up in the DM as well in the email who want to be featured. So if y'all out there spreading the word about the Black Owned Podcast and what we're doing, we appreciate it, man. Shout out to the I Often Wonder Network. Shout out to the Man Down Podcast Network. Everybody got a lot of things going on. I know I Often Wonder Network actually has an app that they have that's officially out now for iPhone users only. They're working on it for Android. So if you would support both of those networks, we would greatly appreciate it. Peaches, what's good with you?
How y'all doing? I'm gonna do my picks today.
Oh, hold it. Damn, fam, you just gonna jump right into it. You don't even want to holler at me, huh?
Hey, this. I'm trying to get me.
You're right, because we got, we got some things we need to talk about. We got some things we need to talk about.
Get through it.
Peaches picks. Let's go.
First thing that I want to say is everybody who was on that podcast who watching, I told y'all to get that dog coin. Well, Doja coin, but I'm gonna call it dog coin because that's what I did on them boys. I dogged them. Now, hey, for all of y'all that got in back when I did, and we got out before it got to drop to this 26 cent. Big up to y'all. I be knowing a little something. Y'all gonna start listening to me.
Okay. So what was that? 148% or something like that? Well, it was across the board. I know that you individually might have been up. Yeah, it might have been up more than that.
I tripped my return on investment was 3 times what I contributed. Yeah. And I'm trying to look for this post that I screenshotted because it bothers me. My second pick is, why do we have to pick between the two? And when I say that, I mean as far as enjoying life and saving. Why? Yeah. The post said, "Don't be fooled. If 2 people have $1,000 each, one invested wisely and make $350. He now has $1,350. The other one spends it on a vacation and posts cool pictures. He now has $350. One guy looks like he winning. The other one is on a path to actually win. Social media is a highlight reel. In reality, most people are losing."
Right.
That was deep or whatever, but my thing is we got to look at this from a us perspective.
Indeed.
The oldest Black people in the world in Africa. Kitty taught me that. They ain't running around America like.
Indeed.
Y'all gonna mess around and let life pass you by because you're trying to save for a day that's never gonna get here.
Right.
Guys, y'all find an equal balance. You get out. Their memories is worth more than that damn $1,000 that he saved. I can guarantee you that. A lot of us is getting up in age, and we're being old before our time, or we're trying to do it for the culture or set an example, and we still got the rest of the world on our back. The stuff that we did to lead up to that,
Right.
that was high blood pressure, diabetes, ain't eating right, all of that stuff is mixed in. Now you got all of that. You save up, you gonna go buy a Winnebago next week, and you die tomorrow.
Oh man. Now what?
This.
You ain't even get to enjoy it.
Gonna get your inheritance, gonna have fun. Y'all might want to live while y'all did here, dead from working like a dog and can't enjoy it. Yeah, that oftentimes we say that. Like, my ex's grandmother, she worked for the post office. She retired. It seemed like once she started, like her health deteriorated. It wasn't nothing to keep her going. She had a stroke and they found her and she passed away. Like, but she
find something else to do, man.
She
Work can't be it.
We went on. She was the first one to take me on a family vacation. They took me camping to Palmatoonie. It's like the Poconos, but it's called Palmatoonie. That was my first family vacation. Y'all living out and y'all doing all this stuff, sacrificing, not enjoying life for what? Why you making money? You to hold it, sit on it? That's why y'all motherfuckers lost that money for dog coin, because y'all ain't see it for what it is.
But you're right though. You can do both.
Yeah.
What I'm saying?
Be considered, and like I'm always the advocate when I'm off, like, oh, you a hater, I'm the one to be like, you saying that because you can't do, but this is a situation where somebody made that post, and in their eyes they thought they were winning. You probably waking up, gotta pull on your meat, ain't got nothing, ain't too much going on, you gotta pay for whatever it is, you sit down, ain't got nothing to show for, some of us gonna live. I know I am. I know when I get up and I go downstairs and I get in the garage and I press that button to start, I know that goddamn luxury vehicle ran way better than my daughter's Volkswagen Passat, because I done drove up better of them. So I didn't work all this time not to enjoy the fruits of my labor. And that's what I'm challenging everybody on here to do. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. These days that we done bust our behinds for somebody else, or broke down, wouldn't go take care of ourselves when we were sick because we was going to go make somebody else rich, or going to fight a war for a country that we ain't even welcome in. You can't get them days back. Let's live, let's love, unite, make memories, and enjoy. That's all I got. Them Peaches Picks for today.
Hey, good old Peaches Picks. Everybody, please, as you coming in, I see some people starting to come in. Please like and share the broadcast, the live. And tell a friend that we on here so they can get on. We definitely had a Black-owned business that we wanted to present to y'all, but we experienced some technical difficulties on there, and I don't know what's going on.
Right, and it was gonna be a good one, our crowns.
Yeah. So
I brush mine out and everything. I was ready,
Hey, look, so we just gonna go ahead and skip and get right into it, man. And this is a doozy. There's as we all know, it's been a up and down week, for us in the Black and brown community. It was up. We've seen George Floyd's murderer be held accountable, and well, so far he's guilty on all 3 charges. Now we just got to stand by to see if he gets all 40 of those years.
What I tell you? Didn't I tell you that prosecutor was eating them alive?
Oh yeah, he was giving them the business. Yeah, fact. Now we need to make sure they get all 40 of them years that he's supposed to get. Plus, we still got 3 other police officers that have yet to
write it right too.
What happened?
It's up to us to make sure the history books document it correctly.
Indeed. So you gotta we have to do all those things. That was I don't say a win, but it was a feel good moment. That's Damon. I swear you like in my mind. I don't think he's gonna get less than 5, but I don't think he's gonna get more than 10. I don't know why, but I just think that he's probably, and the reason why I think that is because that's what the Amber Geiger, who shot both of them, John, that's what she got. She got 10 years. and she was up to get 25. So yeah, we still got to stand by this 8 weeks down the road when he gets his sentencing, and hopefully, like I said, he'll get all 40 of those years.
Tell him in the hut. Time out so everybody enjoyment.
And that's a fact.
Your birthday next year.
That's a fact.
What you doing for your birthday next year? You out here, right?
Who?
Damon.
Oh, I was about to say, I know I am. Hey, we just celebrated my boys in Vegas. Yeah. You know, I got to celebrate mine some type of way. You know what I mean?
Talking about enjoyment is different. What you going to do? Enjoy. But yeah, I'm back off the subject. Hey, Carmen, thanks for joining us. One of my longtime friends popped up. First time me seeing her. Appreciate the support.
What's happening, Carmen? Appreciate you having me. He said he fucking the world up for the 40. I ain't mad at you, but I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. But
still fun.
But you know, to get back at it, man. The latest that we've had to deal with, of course, is Ma'Khia Bryant. A lot of different views on this one. I'm gonna save that one. We're gonna come back to that.
Ooh, you know I'm ready.
We're gonna come back to that, right? Also, I just want to speak about the system in general, and let's see how the 40, my man, what's good, man. Appreciate you for tuning in, my boy. Like I said, I want to talk about the system in general, right? Because the system is going to play a part in everything that we talk about. And when I say the system, I'm talking about the system that is the police, period. Do you believe or do you think yourself that we should defund the police?
Who I'ma call when Pookie come and kick my door in and steal my shit I work hard for? The Ghostbusters?
Right, indeed. So do you think so?
Yes, Ghostbusters?
So do you think so? Yes or no?
What's his name? The little detective that the kids be watching?
Do you think so? Yes or no? Do you think we should be defunding the police? Yes or no?
No, I don't think that we should defund the police. I feel like we need to hold the ones that's accountable, and we need to charge them to stand up. But at the end of the day, I understand what it is. Like with us, like me and Mark, we have this military background. Of course, we will disagree and have knockdown drag-outs behind closed doors, but we come out and we have a united front,
Indeed.
And that's how the world operates. When they feel like they in a fraternity or a brother sisterhood, they get it from both sides. So defund the police, no. Had them being held accountable, yes. But what's the fallout from it? Everything gonna have a ramification. Period.
Right. So, I believe I read that since 2010, there's been 15,000. We got a caller. What's going on, caller? You got something you want to say?
Yeah. As far as defunding the police, they already have extra money in their department.
Right.
Trust me, look into that. Look that up. You know what I'm saying? They got, I'm talking about all over the country. All of the police departments got a mass amount of money. So it ain't a thing about really defunding them, you know what I'm saying? Because they have all the money, as far as, the verdict for that Chavez dude, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
I think America got to pay the piper sometime. I mean, they should get Chicago Police Department for killing Fred Hampton. Then from there, they should go to Rodney King, in which he was a protocol for us being videotaped, being beaten or killed or whatever. They should start with them and then everybody thereafter. Not George, but that Chavez dude, it's all right. But they need to open those cases from Rodney King on up to now. They are not what I call cold cases. They are lukewarm cases.
Right.
America playing games, they go to these murders that they call cold cases way back when, So they need to go back to the lukewarm cases of us being oppressed. And that's my take on that.
Hey, I appreciate you calling in.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Ron G says, defund police means training. There is no way the police can be trained for all these situations. Look at all these videos and scenarios they have to train properly. You're right, but to be perfectly honest, the military or the police aren't trained to injure. They train to kill. We shoot to kill, so I'm not even going to get into that. Speaking of Derek Chauvin, what y'all think about that? Did y'all see his face? He has no remorse. I think he finna go to jail and join the Aryan Nation. That's what I think.
So as far as defunding the police is concerned, I agree with what Ron G and what Mel is saying. Mel is saying defunding the police is more like reallocating the funds, not defunding them. I don't think we should have a society that does not have a police force. However, and I do also believe when it comes to the training that these cops are properly trained. They show that every time they pull over a white male driver who threatens to shoot them, where he has a visible handgun in his passenger seat, and he's taken in alive. Whereas if a black driver turns to get into his vehicle, the threat of him maybe having a gun caused him to get shot 7 times in the back. So the training is there. It's just that they choose they choose to handle the black public different than they do our white counterparts. That's just period. I mean, you can try to butter that up the best way that you have, but there's too many instances that show that cops are properly trained and they know how to come to a situation to de-escalate, just as they did, I believe it was 2 months ago up in Washington. There was a white male there who had a knife, and he was en route to stab another white male, and they shot him with rubber bullets to de-escalate the situation. So the same way that those rubber bullets were available to him, they should be available to others as well.
Clicker in.
Yeah.
Well, when you guys are saying this, defunding the police, and there's too much money and it's allocated elsewhere, I challenge y'all to look at East Cleveland Police Department. They ain't got no money. It's real bad. Now, if that's what y'all want, that'll be a great example of what to look for in Google when you say defund the police. But like Tabitha was saying, they're trained. They know better, but they act out of fear instead of procedure, which is correct. And that's something that can happen with anybody's human nature. I can be trained.
No, that's not. We can't continue to say. Speaking of Tabitha, here she is.
I can be trained to go and deal with elderly people, and I could be doing the right thing for years. And I done turn around and want a heavy-handed grandma with the fat right here to hit me across my face, and I done hauled up, and before I know it, and knocked the shit out of her. Now I didn't mean it, but it happened. But she hit me first,
Situation though, that's a completely different level of violence. That's a completely different, you know what I mean? Like that's like an instinctive reaction what you had, you know what I mean? That's not normal for cops to have. Their instinctive reaction should still be to follow through a procedure. They're supposed to be able to be calm and assess what's going on, stumble over fear and start shooting.
You was in the Marines. Did you guys ever have do general quarters or a fire drill?
Yes, right? But even military, our mission.
Wait a minute. There's procedures, techniques, the calls, what you're supposed to say, who working where, what's need to be shut off, when it's 2-3 o'clock in the morning and you woke up out your rack. Fire.
Yeah, when the shit the fan, but
like the DW, it's something. What happened with the DW?
But it's like, no, that's not the same thing. Like a mission.
I'm not saying that it is or whatever, but no sin is greater than the other. If we gonna get on the, one.
Of course not. Of course not.
They need to be screened.
Right.
He's showing they're not getting how often, and what we talking about, educate them. How much is their budget? Everything they say, every excuse for when stuff happened, just like at Virginia Beach. Hey, this is a blind spot. We don't have the funding for police to be in this spot 24/7, right? So
Right.
how much is a cop starting off? Y'all want them to invest more in these people training than they willing to pay them to put their life on the line. When we get on here, we gotta be conscious of everything, all the moving parts. You know, granted, that's what needs to happen, but is that if we defunding the police, like if once they get this training, that means you got to pay them what they worth, right?
When you go into the military, do they pay you what you worth,
How much they get paid?
or do they just pay you according to budget?
Serve.
Eventually,
No, they don't. They never pay you what you worth. They pay you according to rank and file. They don't pay you what you worth.
but
Anyway, I don't want to even get into the pay because the pay don't have nothing to do with the funding of the police. Period.
Or we ain't talking about no job that he can go up tomorrow and be like, man, fuck this shit, I'm gone.
Who?
You talking about the military? Of course, they ain't gonna pay you for what you work because they done sucked your ass into a contract for 4 to 6 years where you gonna get down or lay down.
Right.
You know,
What I'm saying is,
a bonus, right?
we getting off of the subject. The subject is, should we be defunding the police, and what does that mean? And what that means is we ain't just talking about, when you're talking about funds, we're not just talking about just the money for them to be up and operating.
Right.
We're talking about what do they do with those funds?
Right.
Should there be some? I know that there's been something to the effect. Oh my God. Hey, you can't have all of the time.
Hey, I'm just doing like you do me every other week.
Stop lying. Stop lying.
The purpose in police reforming, when police were literally made to be slave catchers, the first thing that their mission was, so why don't we just break it apart and start over? They're not saying take away police, you know what I mean? They're not saying like let havoc run, you know what I mean? They're just saying like let's reform it, like let's make new departments, new ways to respond. Like they have EMS, EMT and stuff. Like they need to make a different procedure where like certain calls get certain people. It's not always 911 has to send a cop to respond, or maybe like a fire team, you know what I mean? In the military, maybe you have somebody there who's EMS as well as police as well as fire department, because
first responders, and that happens anyway. You know, that's something that's too simple. You know, first responders are police, and like the police get there first based on the type of call it is, you know. And when we go to this one, yeah, the police was come, but anytime they call, like, you know, may rest in peace, one of the guys or whatever, one of the older cats that I grew up, we had this thing called water back in the day. Like they smoke it, but he went crazy. So his mama locked him in a house, and he jumped up when the ambulance pulled out. He jumped off the porch and stole the damn ambulance. So and they ended up having to shoot it because it was going down the freeway with the wrong way, flipped, and it is what it is. But my thing is, we're talking about the simple stuff. We're not experts or whatever. Like, but if you say first responders and people are supposed to be trained, my thing is, it's going to start at the wages. You know, if you send me to a training, I got to do just like with schools, schools and stuff. You get bonuses based on how important they feel like your job is, right?
You think a bonus going to keep cops from killing black people?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
So what are we talking about?
What I'm saying is, you talking about defund the police and reallocate the money to something that they're not going to do. So we holler
They're
about
not doing it now.
and they ain't gonna do it later. That means they're gonna have to pay them what they're
about the money. The point of it isn't about the money. We're not trying to say like take the money.
I'm not saying the point is about the money, but I'm saying when you leave off the R level, it's a money thing.
Okay, it's like human services, right? I see what you're saying with like, you know what I mean? Like you take the money away, like no one's gonna do jack shit. I see what you're saying. I see your perspective.
I'm saying it's not a money thing for us. It's a money thing for Congress. It's a money thing for the government.
Look, there's other fields that are dedicated to helping people. Human services field, you know what I mean? Social work.
No, that's what my mom is.
Don't get anything to do right, be kind and help people. You know what I mean? These it shouldn't be about where the money is and how it starts. Like that shouldn't be the base foundation of what they do.
Like, we're talking real life, right?
Our way of looking at it, and like we totally get it. They don't do this for anything. I understand they had a bad day. No, you went to that field for a certain reason, to protect and serve, like not
right. Just like Critique said, when you start holding them accountable, things would change. I said accountability in the first part, but you know, we can all sit on these podcasts and in these newsrooms and say what they want to do, but the people that making the decisions, it's the ones that's going to look at the end of the day. We brief the budget for the next fiscal year in February. You know, this is the stuff
we just did a show that about voting locally.
Right.
We still got some power. Of course, we won't have that type of power that you're speaking about, where you know what I'm saying, up in Congress, but we still got some type of power that we need to learn to exercise. Yeah. Anyway, I want to talk about. I want to go to what one of the viewers said. 40 said defunding the police is a complex issue, and as of now, nobody knows what that looks like. That's a fact. Nobody knows what that looks like. Everybody has an idea of how they think it should look. But again, this was about the system. And here is what the system is doing, you know what I mean, right now. This group is a left-wing militia group. And they have already admitted on 60 Minutes that they're being trained by active and retired military and police. So there's certainly a system at play in here. And are we falling victim to that system is the question that I want to have answered. But now we're gonna move on to the issue with Ma'Khia Bryant. I know you got some things that you want, or we can talk about the one with. Say again.
Are we doing that one, or are we doing a little girl in Chicago?
We're gonna do the girl in Chicago. This young lady right here. Go ahead, Pete.
Well, of course, it saddens me because, you know, we all thought that when our parents took us to McDonald's when we were younger, you know, that was a good thing. Everybody know we're going to go get a Happy Meal. And to be sitting in a vehicle and they shot that little girl 6 times. And I ain't even going to say they, because normally when we say they on this show, we ain't talking about us.
Facts. And that's exactly who we talking about at this point.
All right, and I'm just curious, and it's still like they still haven't found the suspects. You know, McDonald's got a thing where you can see somebody sitting in the drive-through, both of them, to take their order, but we don't know who shot this little girl. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah. And these situations right here is the stuff that kills us. And I'm praying, you know, when they catch whoever did this, they were of adult age, because that'll validate a lot of stuff that's going to come going down. I'm praying this was no 16, 17-year-old boy that shot this little girl 6 times.
I hope not.
He was a kid.
I mean, when I read about this, I was, you know, a little distraught, because here we got a 7-year-old girl, and the funny thing is, if you don't know the full story, there was a list that the feds released that had the names and addresses of people who fraudulently got the PPP payment, and her father's name was on there, and so his ops got that information from that list.
Yeah, right.
But that don't even really matter, I don't think, because they caught him at a McDonald's. My thing is, even back in the day when I was, you know what I'm saying, young boy, we was doing all types of wild stuff, there was still some type of principles that we had to abide by. We didn't cuss in front of old women. We didn't cuss, drink, or smoke, or do anything in front of a church. You know what I mean? Like, you knew that women and kids were not a part of what it was that we was doing. And that, you know, is kind of where my mind went with it, and like, these cats don't have no type of code, you know what I mean, that they operate under. This a baby, right? And you so anxious on getting this boy who you obviously been looking for and couldn't get, so bad that you see him at the McDonald's with his baby girl and you shoot the whole car with the baby girl in it. Right. I mean, what's going on with these cats, man?
Scenarios in my head to kind of see why or how that could even happen, and it's scary. Like, you can't go nowhere. And then like I said, how we talk about the media and everything. Right. This baby lost her life and it was our business that her daddy got a PPP loan.
Right.
You see, that's the kind of stuff that, you know, they do to kind of
justify
killing. You know, and then we got to worry about what it comes like living in inner city Chicago, inner city Detroit, inner city Cleveland. You know, those places. If I'm in a car with my daughter and you run up on me with a gun and I see you and you see my child and you run off, oh, I'm coming to find you.
Yeah. I mean, like us, like you know what I'm saying? That's my baby girl right there. Hey, Jay. And she's saying that there are no more codes, and that's right. I mean, these cats don't operate under, but the sad part about it is I feel like we failed these little boys. Like we didn't pull these boys to the side to say, hey man, this ain't the way to, you know what I'm saying, to do things. You know, when I was a young dude, if I wanted to get into something that was a little bit shiesty, you know what I'm saying? Like my old heads would tell me, hey, don't do this, don't do what I'm doing. The stuff you see me doing, don't do that. You know what I mean? Or if you see me over here smoking, snorting, whatever, don't do this. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the thing, you know what I'm saying, for you. But if I wanted to get into some type of activity, the old heads who was out here in the street selling the drugs with the nice vehicles, and actually in my neighborhood, they the ones who bought my I needed gear for football. Old heads bought my gear for football. You know what I'm saying? Like the young boys don't operate, you know what I'm saying, like that no more. And that's what's sad, you know what I'm saying? And especially that a young girl, 7 years old, she didn't even get to live life.
Let it ride on by.
Huh?
Generationally too, I think it's an issue that like young men really don't have good examples or leaders around them, because it's like a mindset almost, you know what I mean? Like a lot of young parents have a new type of mindset. Like there's no roles, there's no morals that they play. They're kind of just parents working through life, like themselves, you know. Back in the day, I don't know what it was, but the mindset was different. Whether you were a young parent or an older parent, when you had that child, your goal was to help them achieve any and everything in life. You know, what I mean?
They drop you off at your grandma. The thing is, at the grandma, if they ain't had time, your grandma's gonna raise you. Right now, the grandma's our age. Shit, like I say, I'm about to go outside when I get finished with this. You know, like, you know, so like you're right. Everything gets changed. And we're the last of the generation that actually played outside. When you think about it, not you, Tabitha. Y'all
hey, look, my boy Kimbrell said he just got finished saying that it's social media. It's changed everything. And because I mean, who do we have to stunt for? We ain't have nobody to really stunt for except the people, you know what I'm saying, in our little neighborhood. Now you can stunt for the entire world on TikTok, on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? But I mean,
get me a TikTok. Y'all keep talking about TikTok.
I'm just saying. I mean, like those type of things. You know what I mean? Like bikes. You would walk down the street, you see 7, 8 bikes at somebody's house. You knew that's where all the fellas was at. You know what I'm saying? The girls used to be doing double dutch and hopscotch. I mean, that's none of that stuff, you know what I'm saying, happens, you know what I'm saying, anymore. And I think that has something to do with, I ain't trying to be funny, but I think it has something to do with mental development. And I don't think that it's all wrong. I just think that some of it, you know what I'm saying, like these are the type of repercussions that come from that. 40 say that the community ain't the same, and I agree 100%. The community is not the same. And we're going to talk about that community when we talk about Miss Bryant.
Yeah, they knew you. They knew who your mama was. They knew who your grandma was. I don't know my neighbor's name.
Right.
Like, you know, like, yeah, it's just different. But
yeah, it is. It is.
Went away.
Also, we wanted to kind of briefly touch on this because this is another thing that has to do with us.
Oh yeah.
So if you didn't hear about this particular instance, this lady was walking down the street with her boyfriend, and somebody catcalled. She kind of, you know, dismissed the catcall. They continued the catcall. The boyfriend, you know, then got into the situation and saying, you know, hey man, chill out. You know what I'm saying? You know, she ain't trying to be bothered. This is my little lady, blah blah blah. Once he did that, the gentleman from his vehicle pulled up and shot the lady 3 times.
Wow.
3 times in the leg. She's gonna have to have a rod in her knee for the rest of her life. Over what? over a dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, and this is getting ridiculous because me and Peaches talked about at least 2 other instances where something like this occurred.
when he bit the chunk out the girl cheek and stuff.
Yeah.
When he wanted to pay for her wine, she just stopped, wanted to go on the way to get her child. But we always, y'all say, why is it just happening? It's a digital age again. That stuff ain't been happening. You already know what is it then. Fuck you then, bitch. That's y'all favorite line. Not yours specifically, but even coming up. Like if you try to talk to somebody, they be like, oh, you ain't even know all that anyway. Nigga, you came to me. Like
you know what I'm saying?
So it hasn't changed. The way we're dealing with our anger has changed. Fist fights has went out the window. Everybody gonna pick up a gun or a weapon these days instead of shooting a fade and catching your L and live to fight another day. And you gotta fight me another day and another day if I keep losing. But but just coming up, it's a lot of things that have went out the window. And they say, oh, the video games, this and the video games that, like, they can study something, but my thing is we point to all of these outliers or whatever. If you study something to find a fault in it, you're gonna find it.
Right.
I listen. We all listen to the same music. But they say that's what's killing. So why some of us doctors?
They've been saying that. Yeah.
Why some of us doctors? Why we doing that pretty girls love trap music? If this is the same stuff that motivated us to kill, a lot of stuff that is rapped about is something that some of them some cowards and weak and they just poetic. Some people done lived this stuff or seen it happen, which is why they created the art for it. You know what I mean? So it ain't had nothing to do with the music. It's just a way of storytelling to me. If you think about it, why Wes Craven books, they were scary. Why everybody, ain't doing that shit.
Right. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this. This is Ma'Khia Bryant. She was shot and killed in Columbus, Ohio. A second after this piece of body cam was recorded. Lots, and I mean lots, of different and varying opinions in the community when it comes to this situation in particular. Happened within the hour of the guilty verdict of Derek Chauvin. And man, there's some more division.
That's bothering me that everybody in every outlet that I read, they take this story and they connecting it to that, within during the same hour, this what happened. Like it had something to do with the other. Like he blatantly put his
on the screen.
He put his neck or his knee on this little girl's neck and killed her. Like, and for 9 minutes, like these scenarios, just like y'all was saying with the police and the military and the training, it isn't the same. This is literally not the same.
This girl did not deserve to die over whatever this
I'm not saying
was.
She deserved to die.
I didn't say that you said that, girl. I just said that she did not deserve to die over this situation.
Okay, it's so many things that went wrong or whatever. A lot of y'all, if y'all don't know, he was in.
Let's start with that. What's the one thing that went wrong?
First off, she's 16, not 15.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
She was in foster care.
Mm-hmm.
She had an altercation with another girl in this foster care home as well. Now,
hold on. Let me pause you right there. Now, when we saying, remember, we started with the system. So the foster care system is a system as well. So keep that in mind. Go ahead.
I'm gonna keep it in mind because I've been a part of it. So we Oh my God. Yeah. I'm gonna keep it in mind. I've been there.
Go ahead.
I'm a ward of the state. But anyway, all of these things that we play up, and she was big and she was in the act. Everybody keeps saying, what if that was your child? What if that was my child on the other side of that knife?
In the pink.
Mm-hmm. Not the one that fell on the ground. What if that she was charging there? What if that was my child?
Right.
And this officer pulled out a taser that jabbed her forward. because if she was in a forward motion, if he'd have hit her with it, first of all, it was like 10 or 11 seconds between the time he got out his car to the time this stuff was happening. This was 10. That's all. Keep in mind, that's all he had to ask or whatever. So no, the time it took to pull out the gun, he could have tackled that girl. She was going forward. If he ran into her full force as a girl right here in stab and reach, and he ran and tackled her, which way they falling? That man ain't had no way out of this situation. Had he tased her and she still stabbed the girl, had he tried to interject and ran and the other little girls got shot, then the heading would just be different.
Hold on, we got a caller.
Right, absolutely.
Go ahead, caller.
What's up, Mark? This is 40.
What up, 40?
What's up, man? I just want to comment on what y'all talking about right now.
Go ahead.
That girl, it's sad that happened with that girl.
Right.
But as we see, you know, if you saw the first video, you would think that the cop was in the wrong.
Right.
So that's a media thing.
Right.
That's a telling one side of the story type thing.
Right.
And then you see somewhat of the full video. I'm pretty sure there's multiple angles that's going to be coming out here later.
Right.
But the main one with the cop coming out and initially, you know, saying what he had to, you know, trying to figure out what's going on and then ultimately shooting the little girl. He had a split decision to make.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And like your other host said, if my daughter was on the other end of that and he did not do nothing, I would be suing the police force for him not doing his job.
Right.
Because he had an opportunity to save my child.
Right.
It would have still go ahead.
What's he supposed to do? He's in between a rock and a hard place.
Indeed.
And it's unfortunate that there were adults that was around that could have easily killed this situation.
Yep.
People not talking about the adults that are sitting around.
Oh, we about to get to it. I was about to get to it. Trust me.
You know, so this situation could have not even gotten to the point where it was, but it did.
Right.
And ultimately, she died because of whatever happened. Nobody don't know the reasons as to what was happening. But it's just a sad situation, and the cop was put in the position of a rock in a hard place, as well as the girl.
Right.
As well as the girls. It's a bad situation because if somebody would have stopped her prior to this, it wouldn't have gotten this far.
Indeed.
And it's sad.
You're right. I agree, man.
About the man
my boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
He talking about the man who didn't one of the he kicked the girl in the head. Was that a grown man or a boy that kicked?
I don't know. It looked like a little boy, but we don't know.
You know, but my thing is the headline would have been totally different. It would have been Black Lives Don't Matter. You know, cop state allows she would have been a young adult. She wouldn't even been a child had she stabbed that other girl. You know,
we got another caller.
You know, allow young adults to attack.
Oh my God! Hey,
and put by. That would have been the headline. You know.
Mel, you there? Hey man, turn your what's the name down in the back?
I thought I did. Hold on a second. I might got it on my phone too.
Oh, okay.
Let me turn off my phone.
Are you good now? Go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of agree with the last caller was saying. You know, you look at it from this standpoint. Law enforcement is what they taught, what they call a force continuum. So, whatever force is coming at you, you're supposed to meet that same force.
Right.
She had a knife. That's considered deadly force.
Right.
Plus, he only had a split decision to make at that time. Now, he would have tackled her. In his mind, he had to say, if I tackle her, what if she stabbed me? I am the line of defense. She stabbed me and killed me, the line of defense is gone.
Right.
So that's one that may be in his mind say, okay, that's out of it. I tasered her. There's been people who got tased and still can move forward. She possibly can still stab the girl. So that might have been out. So only thing he probably thought, and within his training, is that I have to eliminate the threat.
Right.
And that's what he thought was the best thing to do, was to pull out his gun and use meet deadly force with deadly force according to the force continuum. So it's sad that the girl lost her life.
It is.
But one thing we need to still focus on is the fact that why did she get to that point when she didn't have any respect for any kind of authority, and her father is involved in the incident with kicking the girl?
That was her dad?
Say that again?
Was that her father that kicked the little girl in the head?
That's what that's why I was told. Now, if I'm wrong, somebody correct me. I was told that was her dad that was kicking the girl.
No, I doubt that. She in foster care for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, even if that is the fact, when a police officer showed up and she continued forward in her forward motion, not respecting authority, so all those factors need to be added up, and we get emotional, and which is I can understand because it's another black child. I have daughters, so I see my daughters in those black children that's getting killed. I see my sons, I see young men getting killed. So yes, I have emotional attachment, but outside of that, you still have to look at each case by case, each case by case basis.
Yeah.
Right. And this is what bothers me.
Appreciate you for calling in, my boy.
Thank you. I just keep cutting y'all off. The fact that they keep saying, say her name.
Right.
This is what's killing me. Breonna Taylor died. She was asleep in her house. She wasn't in the act of doing anything.
Right.
She. Then you think about it. Either you standing your ground or you calling the police. You can't do both.
Right.
If you call 911 and say some girls is outside trying to fight me, put their hands on me, and then you go outside, I don't get it. Like, I feel like did a dog probably got a guilty conscience, because my daddy would have been like, come on, let's go. You gonna fight all of them. But everything he keeps saying, he could have thought this and that and another. That girl had to go to a kitchen because ain't no knives laying by the front door. Pick that knife up, make it through the living room, the hallway, whatever, and go out the door, come down the driveway and charge at them girls. Yeah. She got shot on the sidewalk. She didn't get shot in her doorway. She didn't get shot on her stairs. I want to know what this daddy was doing.
See, but the thing is, too, you got to remember she's in foster care. So I agree. Like, she didn't deserve to get killed, but what she did put them in an awkward position to do nothing but that. And I feel like people are playing on the Black Lives Matter with this issue, and it really bothers me because it's taking away from the fact of what's actually happening with innocent Black lives getting killed. Like, when you start to mangle everything together and just say this because she was Black, this is why people start to resent what we're trying to do and speak up for, because we victimize ourselves and we make it seem like everything that happens to us now is for no good reason and no just cause.
Yeah, and we're saying
4 times, I don't know, maybe that's excessive.
That's excessive.
On his best judgment. That's the only thing, It wasn't like he saw Black person. He came out, assessed the situation, and had to handle it. Because like you said, if someone else's kid would have gotten caught, they would have been like, cop didn't care about Black child's life and matter, like blah, blah, blah. If it was a white person, they would have made sure to save that life. No, it doesn't matter. They would have misconstrued it to have something to do with the Black Lives Matter.
But
all right, you got something you want to say? Hold on, we got callers.
Yeah. This a real sticky situation, but God he blessed me with wisdom. First of all, the young lady, she made a bad decision, because she put herself in that situation. And I'm not even going to speak on the people that could have deaded the situation before then. But I've been in war before out in these streets. I had a chance where I cut a person up and I was finna hit him with that last swipe, and God took me off of him, said, if you do that, you go kill him. Been in this situation where I was in the street, had the gun, I had him in my sight, I shot him 3 times in the leg. I could have killed him. I made a moral decision not to do that. And police, they have no morals. To me, they have no morals. I know they train to kill people, but if you had morals, if you had souls, soul, when you pulling that trigger, you have the right to take a life. I mean, you have the power to take a life or to preserve life. That man that he killed that girl, I know the situation was dicey, but if I was in that cop's shoes, I would have probably shot her, but I wouldn't have killed her, man. You know what I'm saying? He did not have to kill that young lady. And as far as your the lady saying that we always trying to be the victim and stuff, is because we are. Those police, the police across the nation, police the black community with the iron rod is opposed to white communities. And to give you an example, a week and a half ago in Minnesota, there was a white man in a truck. He hit a white cop with a hammer while the cop was standing on his running board, and then he drove off with him. And then he made it home to his family. And in this case, cause that's all I want to say. We police differently. So we are. He did not have to kill that girl. Even though she made a bad decision.
Police are the same
people. I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, you can't group all the police in one. I mean, that's like with us. You want to be an individual, but we get grouped together. Different people have different reactions to different situations. Clearly, old boy didn't care about his life because I want to, you know what I mean? But my thing is, we do that, and now we saying she was only, they saying 15. She was only 16. She was a teenager. How old was Kyle Rittenhouse?
17.
So was he a kid?
Yes. You 17, you a child.
He did something wrong though, right?
You fucking right.
So where you want him to go?
I want him to go to jail.
Okay. So this girl, I
want her to go to jail. I don't want her to be killed.
I ain't saying that you want her to die or whatever. I'm looking at it as if it was one of my daughters in front of them. Don't you shoot her in her goddamn leg so she can fall forward. He was coming up behind her. He didn't come to the side of her. He didn't do every engagement he had to do was gonna shoot her forward.
Wasn't there people? Wasn't there people next to her when he shot at her? There was people. Right?
Yeah, the little girl was in front of her. If he moved, and one of them bullets could have hit her. Hold on, we got to call her.
You know what
so
I mean?
What would you do?
Go ahead, call her.
Hey,
what's happening?
I just want to kind of ride off of what the last guy said. Like, I understand what everybody saying, but I absolutely don't believe she had to die. But I absolutely believe that, like somebody else said, she had to go to a kitchen. She had to come out that door. Somebody could have stopped her. And as far as the Black Lives Matter, I mean, we can't really say it's that, because if it was my daughter on the other side, yeah, I'm going to want you to do something. But if it was my daughter with the knife, it's like,
it's hard.
What was she supposed to do? She was defending herself. And if it was a white girl, would she have been shot?
Yeah.
And I think that's how people are really looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm never going to defend the cops. I'm sorry. I'm never going to do that. But I understand everybody and where they're coming from and how they're looking at it. Because some people are just looking at it like if it was a white girl with a knife, wish she had been shot. But I just don't even want to put the cop in the play. I want to know why the adults didn't stop her before she got into that whole little movement, that whole little stance that we're watching, that screenshot. I want to know what happened before then. But that's all I call this day.
Was out there fighting too, so they hyped the situation up.
Yeah.
Why is everybody assuming that this girl was in her right mind? One, you're in foster care. You don't know how long she's been there, what she's been through. She could have
you
been
just
going
took
through a
that from
mental
me.
breakdown. You know what I mean? Like, it's not justifiable what she did, but at the same time, you gotta understand there actually may be a reason why she did something so blatantly crazy as to do that. Cops are in front of her, she's not stopping. It's like being blacked out if you see her.
I
like,
can't understand how you get blacked out when the cops get there.
That's what I'm saying. There had to be something wrong. She didn't give it. Nothing was stopping her. Like, you got to see her rage, her behavior. Like, nothing.
Right.
She had been going through an episode.
Hey, Cambrell, call back. Cambrell, call back.
Yeah, I just don't think it's fair that he made the choice to take the knife. Like, you don't know. You don't know.
What if it was one of the other little girls that went over her house and when she was running to him with the knife and they shot her?
It's understandable. I'm just saying that they need to.
No,
I'm just saying at this point we kind of like we doing a whole bunch of we doing a whole bunch of hypotheticals, a whole bunch of you know what I'm saying, what ifs.
Girl, one of the ones that she was attacking with the knife with a shot.
I'm just saying but that's still all hypothetical. That's still a whole bunch of what ifs and a whole bunch of hypotheticals.
That girl that shot her, we will want her in jail because they gonna say we forget that at one time we were children. I remember walking to people's house,
right. And I know as a child you not emotionally prepared to make 100% of the right decisions.
Yeah, so they'd be like, "Oh, she needs to go to jail because she had no business going in front of her house." You know, and then the people that's gonna try and hang them in jury, it's just like the military. Once they get up in rank, they forget who they was and what they came from. They was doing little kid shit. I'm ready for the stuff to come. Cause name one person, unless you just was a square or our kids, cause they kind of square anyway. That ain't never took went outside and went around in front of somebody's house, and the mama made them come outside and fight you.
Yeah.
You
but know that's because we knew that's what we was gonna do. Hold on, we got another caller. Go ahead, bro.
Hey, what's going on?
Sexy
like
boy.
I said, I feel like this is a race issue when it goes deep down into it. I know for me, in any instance, I've been dealing with any sort of police or cops because I'm a big black male. Regardless of the situation, a tail light, a left turn, a stop sign, 4 or 5 cop cars are around me.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Right.
They don't believe that we are capable. We are still monsters in their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot de-escalate us.
Right.
So his decision was wrong. He was wrong for killing that girl. It's not his job as a policeman. He is not the judge and the jury. Right. He is there to protect and to serve, not to kill.
He was doing that?
There's always a different way. I've seen altercations. I've been in altercations where deadly weapons have been in use. And I've seen cops risk their lives, run, jump, tackle, be armed.
I risked my life for 40.
It wasn't his choice to say, you know what? I got here 10 seconds. In the video, you see that he walks up and you look to his right, all of a sudden you see these 2 tumble.
Right.
Why was his first instinct to jump on him? His first instinct was to say, hey, what's going on? And then he allowed the situation to escalate even more to where he didn't have a choice, but he had a choice at the beginning.
I feel you.
He was
like I said before, there are countries all over the world who do not allow their officers to carry deadly weapons, and they got it figured out.
And they don't have to. It's illegal. You know, we have been overseas. Like, you ain't got to worry about pulling up to
the UK right now that walk around with billy clubs.
Yeah, but
and flexi cuffs. That's all they got.
Right.
But they decided when they became police officers, they decided that they wanted to make their community a better place.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, Ron G got a good point. He said he think he reacted to the male chasing that girl.
So here's what this is the thing, right? So as Ron G has always said, I don't want to, give my full until all of the facts come out. Like I'm a reserve judgment till all of the facts come out. But this is what we do know. First of all, there's a lot of things we don't know. One, we don't know if he was the first cop on the scene. We just know that his body cam is what was used to show us what was going on at the scene. We also know that just like Ron G just said, soon as he got there, he is when that male was chasing the little girl or what have you. That could have automatically took him from 0 to 100. He could have spiked immediately, right? And then the next thing you know, the girl is coming out, and I think if I remember correctly, she ran right past him to the other little girl, and then what happened. But here is what I want to say about the entire situation. There are so many things wrong here and at play. One, adults should have handled that early in the game. The cops shouldn't have even got a sniff of what was going on between this girl and whatever other girls are that were involved, or dudes, you know what I'm saying, were involved as well. What I did find out was that was her foster father that kicked was that a girl on the ground that kicked that little girl in the head like that? So that just go to show you what type of environment she was in, even in her foster care, right? She's a 16, just turned 16-year-old girl with her emotions high. We can't expect that every decision she makes is going to be rational. She did the right thing by calling the cops, but where were her parents, or where was that foster father, and what type of mind is he in? Because to me, he should be charged with having something to do with this girl getting murdered, because he played a role in it. If you ask me, there were other adults who were just standing around and standing by. Nobody did anything. They just were all you know what I mean? Like, this is a us problem.
Accountability.
This is right. This is a us problem. This isn't fully a systematic problem. When you allow the system to come into the problem, that's when it became one. So we gotta, how many times have we heard about cops being called to handle what do they call it, mental issues or something like that, and it's handled incorrectly. I've seen one in particularly in Miami where the guy was already on the ground, the cop got there and shot the dude, and this is a mental health issue. It has nothing to do with any type, and that's what I mean when I say we need to defund the police. I mean we need to allocate those funds to other things. Police should not be called to mental health scenes. That's not what they're there for. If we saying that we train police to shoot center mass and handle, you know what I'm saying, then they need to be called to situations that are actively violent. There is a robbery in progress. There is XYZ, and that's what they need to be, you know what I'm saying, called to.
She was hollering in the phone, like, you know, it was an action, it was something that was escalated.
Right, but I'm not this situation. This situation, myself, I blame the foster parents. I don't know if the foster mother was present or anything like that, and I blame any other adult that was outside and seeing all of this taking place because like you just said, the community is jacked up. There's no way in the world this could have happened when I was young and I lived, you know what I'm saying, in Atlantic Gardens with, you know what I'm saying, Miss what's her name knew my mama, and Miss what's her name over here knew my mama. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, I seen him out here doing nothing, so I slapped him upside his head, jacked him up, blah blah blah. So you can handle it, you know what I'm saying, from here. I'm saying that's why I'm saying that this is a us problem. When we talk about accountability, we have to also accept accountability ourselves. You see what I'm saying? Like, we have to also get to a point where we looking into the mirror and saying, we messing this one up, or we missing it. We missing the mark when it comes to A, B, and C. Because that is exactly what happened here. And it's the reason why I feel the way that I do, especially about that foster father who not only didn't protect his foster child, but even kicked a little girl in the, I don't care what's going on. You know, I got a baby girl who I love dearly. If she was in a fight losing, I wouldn't come out and beat up the other little girl. I'm going to get her off my baby, but I'm not going to come out there and kick the girl. I mean, come on, man. I'm just saying, like, there was a whole lot of things at play in this particular situation. And you're right. I don't think this is up there with a Breonna Taylor situation or Sandra Bland. This is not that, you know what I mean? But this is an accountability that the Black community should look at itself and say, we are failing our children.
When you see all the protests, you see them protesting? You know, They got a big protest going on behind this.
I mean, yeah, because some people are going to see it. Like I'm saying, like if generally there's a lot of division when it comes to this particular instance in this particular case.
A Republican and a Democrat, and I hate to go back to Doc Creed law number 1, but this is a situation where we're using that that victimization or that Black Lives Matter as a hashtag for something that we don't want. Y'all just sit up here and say we grouping all police officers together, right?
That's a fact.
But the last caller say they still look at us as monsters. Now you got some people hopping out, just like what happened in Chicago and kill a 6-year-old girl. We group together. Some of us are monsters. We got to make sense. Yeah. So at the end of the day, whenever I got a job to do, whatever duty I do, when I kiss my kids or make them their breakfast, leave them their lunch money, and I leave about this mug, I do that with every intention on returning. Right. So like how somebody's talking about throw me in front of a knife because I'm a police officer, and now somebody else got to raise my kids, that's dead. I'm not doing it. But we tend to look at it another way. It's like a double standard. They don't want us to group we don't want to be grouped together.
Yeah, but I mean, if you telling yourself the truth, we are grouped together. That's just period. You can not want to be grouped together all you want, but we are.
I said we don't want to be.
No facts, but we are. You got to deal in what the fact is, not what you want.
But I'm saying, but like what I said, we all grouped together. And we going out here with this narrative that the person that they painted us out to be isn't who the fuck we are. We got
a caller.
Accountability is during this
time. Go ahead, caller.
All right, so now I'm a cop, born and raised on the south side of Chicago.
Right.
So I totally agree, because every day I have to face leaving my 2 black sons to go police a community, not knowing whether I pull over a granny or a guy with nothing to lose.
Right.
Now, that situation with the girl, yeah, it sucks. But there's literally very little reaction time.
Right.
So, as a people, how do you expect cops to react to stuff like that when us as a community won't even take accountability?
Well, I mean, that's what I just got finished saying previously, was that in this particular situation, I put the accountability on us more than I do the officer. I don't think he needed to kill her, but I don't put full accountability on him, because I'm sure there were numerous times before he arrived where that situation could have been squashed and taken care of by the adults that were present. But at the same time, I don't necessarily believe he needed to kill her. Shooter, maybe, but I don't think he needed to kill her.
Right.
Well, see, and that's the thing. You have that split second because people are, well, why don't you use a taser? Well, first of all, I have to make sure I get both prongs in her, and if I miss, then the taser is useless. So she's still just
bullets are useless if you miss too, though.
And that's true. But would you rather me save your family member's life with something that more than likely is going to work, or take a whim that hopefully I get everything I need for that taser and still get a good connection for her to get tased? I'm
gonna want you to do whatever you need to do short of killing her. I mean, and this is just me, short of killing the person. I want my cake and eat it too. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I want you to get rid of this situation, but I don't want to have to deal with the fact that a girl died because she was fighting my daughter. I don't want to have to deal with that, or nor do I want my daughter to have to deal with that on her conscience either. It's a tough one. I'm not saying that the job that y'all do isn't tough and that y'all aren't in some terrible situations, but like I said, this particular instance, I don't necessarily blame the cop. I don't think he should have killed her, but I blame us. I blame the community at large that was present when all of this stuff happened. And like I said before, she shouldn't even have to call the cops. The cops shouldn't even got a whiff of this, what was going on. There were adults present. Adults should have handled that. That falls strictly on their shoulders, if you ask me. when we're talking about this
you
particular.
brought up a good
You
point.
gonna let me not get my point out. So,
Well, like I said, that's just my 2 cents on it. Like I said,
bullet, right?
being in law enforcement, period, it sucks.
Right. I mean, and I can
especially as
understand.
an African American, like whether I pull over a minority, I'm called a racist or a sellout.
Right.
Pull a white person over, racist or a sellout.
Mm-hmm.
So now no minorities want to be a cop. So then who else do you think is going to police our community?
Well, you know what? A long time ago, I told my man Ryan G that I believe if we want the police to change, then we should also look at being cops as an actual option for career choice. They laughed at me, pointed at me, almost spit on me and everything. But I agree. However, comma, I can't say that one, you didn't know that before when you signed up, that Black people, we just not gonna look at you the same. You know what I'm saying? While you in that uniform, I don't care who pulled me over. I'm worried. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get away from that. When I get pulled over and go home, because I want to go home to my people too. So I mean, and I don't care who the person pulling me over is, black, white, y'all all cops. I still feel like, you know what I'm saying, one of you mothers to put one in me.
I still gotta play those advocates.
Just like we pull over like the cop in New Mexico who got executed as soon as he pulled the guy over.
Right. So
I mean, it's a double-edged sword, right. And it sucks just in general until people can try to see both sides of it.
Right. And I appreciate the fact that you are a cop. I sincerely, and I'm not bullshitting, do wish that more minorities would look into being a cop as a form of occupation. But I think that the relationship between cops and our community is so sour that we just don't even want to be associated with the badge.
Well, is it the fact that we don't want to be associated, or is the fact that we teach our kids that being doctors, lawyers, judges, police officers isn't cool?
Well, I teach my kids, be what you can be. Everybody ain't smart enough to be a doctor. Everybody ain't dumb enough to be a janitor. Not saying that janitors are dumb, but I'm just saying, like, you gotta figure out where you fall at, and you know what I'm saying, in this world to be successful and figure that out. So like I said, myself and the few gentlemen that I do hang around don't necessarily see as being a cop as being a bad thing. But I'm sure that I'm in the minority in that sense.
I feel like it's a
let me get my.
You guys have a good one. I just want to say that.
Hey man, and I appreciate you you know what I'm saying, calling in and giving us the bird's eye view from your point of view.
Thank you.
All right, man. Y'all be safe.
You do the same.
Well, like I was saying, like my brother and my sister has been shot. My sister got shot twice. And I asked them, like, what happened? Do you know they didn't know they were shot? Y'all talking about, oh, you shoot to injure and this and this. My brother, uncle on there, he on 79th and Garden Valley. He ran a half a block before he started feeling like he could, he realized that he had been hit. My sister.
Is that the rule or the exception?
Huh?
Is that the rule or the exception?
My sister the same way. She was.
Is it the rule or the exception? So everybody who gets shot ain't gonna know they got shot till.
No, what I'm saying is, if you in the act of doing something, your adrenaline is high as what hers is. 9 times out of 10, you'd have had to hit her more than once before she realized, oh shit, this hurt.
Well, I'm not gonna argue that point because I already said I put the onus on the community at large and not her particularly.
Yeah, I'm not blaming her, but I still don't understand. I don't know, but they was doing kid stuff, like
yeah.
She passed, but that running out with the knife.
But hey, now this what I do have to say is I agree a lot with what Tabitha said, is that we don't know what this lady's what her mindset was. I mean, she's obviously in a tumultuous situation, especially if you got the what's her name coming out. Jesus Christ! Can I finish?
Because you wouldn't let me.
Can I finish? Can I finish?
Many minutes.
Can I finish?
No, I'm not saying.
Thank you so much. You don't know what this girl's mindset is. She might have been going through something with, you know what I'm saying? You don't know who lived there, what the pops doing. Evidently, the whole environment is crap.
Put that out here because that's the narrative that they gonna try to pick. That's the same thing when it's a bad thing or somebody loses.
What narrative you talking about?
that she was misunderstood and she had mental health issues. That's not, or like with George Floyd, they tried to take the emphasis on everything that happened.
So would you understand that if your daughter was the one who ran out with the knife, why they shot her? You literally would be like, you know what, officer, I totally understand. You want to be like, there was nothing else.
Of course, everybody gonna have to try to make an exception when we're not.
But that's why.
But what if you was the child behind her, the one that was in front of the knife? You know, you can look at it from whatever point. I'm not saying that I wouldn't have no type of empathy or feelings of sadness or anything or whatever, but this is where we take ownership and accountability for the situations that we in. And of course, it's going to take a long time. You know, they're probably about to end up in a divorce and family split up and these people not talking. The two girls that went over to her house, they need mental health counseling because they the cause of another child's death. You know, I don't just sympathize for her parents. I sympathize for everybody that was in that situation and affect it. And it's nothing more, you know, traumatic than your child experiencing something or going through something and you wasn't there to help them. I know, you know, and the ones why she ended up in a foster home, they really finna be ate to death. You know, this is gonna touch more than. But my thing is, we talking about some Black Lives Matter and we doing these marches and stuff. That jury gonna get picked to pick the facts. So where are we going with this? They gotta pick out the facts. You know what? They can't rule off emotion. Mm-hmm. So we got to make it make sense. Like it don't make sense. You know, the marches and the protesting or whatever. We already said that we need to. They say defund the police. They need more training. You know, like
because I feel like accountability is part of this process, and we're not holding ourselves as accountable because we're not seeing the change that we want in the other areas. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to feel like, all right, we need to be the ones to do something when change when the issue is so much bigger than us. And it feels like no matter what we do, how good we are, how much better we try to be, it keeps happening. You start to focus on what's coming at you, not what's going on with you. You know what I mean? So I feel like right now we need accountability, but how do we encourage each other to hold ourselves accountable, have a completely different mindset when all of this is happening, you know? Like how do people find that balance of like staying calm? We're just always calm through everything, you know what I mean? It's just
and that's why I'm ignoring G-Man. I grew up under him. When shit went left, we called him. Like we called him Uncle Peanut. So he can be over here talking about what he done do, and we done fought his neighbors, and he was there. You know, like we gotta. Sometimes we put ourselves in these situations where we forget where we came from, who we was, the little stuff that we do, and of course it went too far. You know, she had a knife to the gunfight. You called the police. What you thought he was pulling out with?
Right.
A car with some blue lights and some guns, right? I don't know.
It's like scare the cops, but that's the only thing we know to protect us. Like,
I mean, we're gonna always find a point the finger, you know, especially when it's something that's affecting us or we hurt behind it. But because this Black Lives Matter thing is, you know, on the forefront, anything that happens that's gonna involve the police is gonna carry that hashtag because somebody is hurting. You know, not somebody on the receiving end of that person who passed away is gonna hurt, whether they was a enforcer or whether they was innocent. So we always gonna point the finger outwards. Ain't nobody gonna stand and look in the mirror like, well, maybe I could have. You know? No, it's you looking in the mirror. Right. What Michael Jackson? I'm gonna make a change. Nah, just playing. But I'm done, y'all. I'm going out.
I feel you. And I still do like the points that were made, like when he said that like the police do view us as monsters. I still separate that a little bit from the situation, but he's absolutely right. Because I was just speaking to my boyfriend the other day. I'm like, you know how crazy it is to think about how many times like a Black person calls the cops for help, and you're already like freaking out trying to figure out what to do before they come.
They come or trying to make sure everything's picked up.
Right. White people call and they're like, the cops are coming. We're like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, the cops are actually coming now. What?
Yeah.
So It is. They handle us because if, and again.
So why wasn't she afraid to call them?
I'm not gonna lie. I've called the cops for multiple things that I've needed help with, all like domestic abuse related and stuff. But I have had moments where the way that they handled things before and the way that they treated me because of my skin tone and because of me seeming as the aggressor because of my, do you know what I mean, demeanor when on scene. I'm like, yo, like they're not listening to me. Like they're telling me to calm down. They're over here trying to push me to the side. I'm like, but I need help and I just need you to listen. But you don't want to listen. You don't want to listen to me when I'm talking like this because you're scared.
You don't.
Like,
they don't speak your language. You're cultured.
But a white person, and they're, how can I help you? Like they're listening.
But there people who be responding. They white. They understand each other. Like he said, it ain't enough black people on a police force. So where
black people don't treat black people great either. I don't care.
Yeah, but show me an instance where you. When we keep talking about this training and defund the police, but I ain't seen the fucking headline yet that said where a black man killed another black man. They got the same fucking training. They got the training. Like I said, the problem is way before this. We want to reverse 400 years or something that they've been taught that they were superior. Regardless of the fact. So this, no matter how far you push, you gotta fight something. Like he just came out and said they done came out and took responsibility for the Capitol riots. They trained for this. They've been waiting on this. They see us coming. We can't blend in. We ain't Chinese. Ain't that what Doc Creed said?
I feel like we need to be happy when these things happen because even like with the case that just happened when he was found guilty, people didn't really celebrate the guilty verdict as much as they did the fact that
I cried. But I was just happy because I cried because I was happy because the system done messed us over so many times that even though I watched with the verdict, like we've been disappointed. So yeah, when it came out, I cried because that was a check in the block. But in the same instance, everything that we fought. Nah, Mark ain't talking. He mad.
I'm just listening.
But everything that we fought for, this situation happens. And if you look at Columbus, they marching. They want that cops, badge. They want him to be prosecuted, for what he did. Now, imagine, so all of y'all just saying, fuck my daughter, the one that was on the ground and the one that was in front of the house.
Like I said, I'm a reserve judgment till all of the facts come out. Yeah. When all of the facts come out, that's when we be able to make a solid decision on who did what and who was right, who was wrong, or whatever. Like I said, we don't know if that cop was the first one on the scene or not. It's a whole lot of things that we don't know, and we going off of a whole bunch of hypotheticals.
In the post, they said they went and found the answer while he was talking. He was the first one on the scene.
Huh?
He was the first one.
He was good.
Go ahead.
All right, then. Well, that's it, man.
Yeah, we gone.
We went a little bit overboard today, you know what I'm saying? But I expected that. I already had, kind of figured that we'd go past our regular time today. Whole bunch of engagement today. I think we had so many what's the names in the chat that the chat broke, and we had to kind of figure that out. So, hey, I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? Tune it in. I appreciate y'all being engaged. Everybody who gave us a phone call, we appreciate y'all. Tabitha, I appreciate you having me. You want to shout out your business real fast?
Yeah.
Just do it another time. We'll bring her back.
Okay, we'll bring her back. Okay, we'll do that. Kinfolk.
You guys, in your opinions and your honesty and stuff too, it really helps a lot of people. So thank you again for having me. It's nice to be able to express that,
No doubt. Kinfolk.
Don't hang up.
Hey man, I want everybody out there to know I love Peaches. She make me sick sometimes, but that's my girl. I love her.
Yeah. I love you.
I don't hate, I motivate my people to elevate and rise above the fray to show God is great. Not blasphemous, but magnanimous, without any animus to show that they're fabulous. With a little bashfulness being the catalyst for adult learners to conquer